Welcome to the Disability and podcast, bringing together thoughtful discussion and debate. This month, Dow's Digital Operations Manager, Joe Turnbull, chats with Sabrina Cruickshank about the launch of Disorderly Theatre, a user-led theatre company for neurodivergent adults.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Disability On podcast. This month, I'm joined by Sabrina Cruickshank. Welcome, Sabrina.
Hello, it's great to be here.
Oh, thanks for coming. Let's just kick right off, really. Sabrina, could you just start by telling us a bit about yourself and your background?
I'm 27 years old, female. I'm autistic and ADHD with hypermobility. I'm currently studying a master's part-time in creative and cultural industries management at Northumbria University, and I did my bachelor's in theatre and performance at the same place, as well as a Cert HE in dance at Newcastle College University Centre and a BTEC in circus with Circus Central.
Have you always been interested in performance then?
Oh, absolutely. Before that, I was doing performing arts at Stagecoach Performing Arts. I was in the care system, I don't mind saying that, and I was going through a tough patch at school. So I went through various different schools. I believe it was roughly about like 5-ish schools, including private tutors and a special school at Cedars. I went to Cedars and a Heworth Hall, which was specifically for children that were struggling in schools because they often got bullied, etc. And because I spent so much time out of school, they saw Stagecoach Performing Arts as a kind of a substitute. So even though it was just once a week, for a while, that was my only education.
Right.
So the council were able to pay for that. Because normally it'd be quite expensive, but they were able to pay for it because it substituted education because I wasn't going to anything else.
What aspects of theatre were you sort of most drawn to initially?
I don't know. I know that when I was younger, before I started acting or anything like that, I was writing scripts. I started writing scripts for my friends. I had one... It's really, really bad. It's so bad. But it was called Johan the Warrior.
Okay. I mean, we've all done a bit of what is sometimes called like juvenilia, like stuff that you did when you were young. Have you reread that script ever?
Yeah. It was interesting. It was about like basically there was this stone that kept the crops alive. One day it gets stolen and the crops die, and it's about Johan the Warrior trying to like going through all these different demons and monsters, fighting them, just trying to get this stone back.
Apocryphal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Obviously we've got you on to talk a bit about disorderly theatre. I wondered if you could tell us how the idea or the inspiration for that came about.
I've been working, because I've, I believe it would have been just the start of my first year on the theatre and performance course. I started wondering about, theatre companies, and I really wanted my own space, because I often struggled in social situations and stuff like that. I would have miscommunication issues a lot, and in the early semester, we did have communication issues because obviously the rest of the class weren't so caught up on how to talk to me, and I didn't know how to talk to them because it was a mix of neurotypes. And I just really wanted a space where we, from the get-go, we understood each other. And I figured like when it was like the first year, and again, like everyone's learned from everything, like everyone's brilliant. But in the first year, I was first put with a group that were neurotypical, and I struggled communicating. And it was like if I was nonverbal one day, I just wouldn't get heard because they didn't know how to communicate back with me. They wouldn't they were very much against the clock, so they didn't have time to read my messages or anything like that. So it was the loudest voice that got heard. But the next time I was put into a group where we were all neurodivergent, and it was the quietest voice that got heard because one of us turned up and was nonverbal one day, and they had their phone. And instead of like everyone just ignoring that person, suddenly there was a group, like we just formed around this person, and we read the message on their phone, and it was their ideas that got heard the most.
So interesting.
I just really wanted a space like that, and I realized that, like, I wondered if it was like my issue, like if I wondered if because at first I thought I was the problem because I'm neurodiverse, but then when I got put into a group full of people just like me, I didn't have any communication issues at all, and I just wondered about how the world says that we're the problem, and I don't see neurotypical people as the problem. But I do wonder if the education regarding communication is the problem. Because when I was growing up, like if you go to school and you have problems talking like verbally, most of the time, if you're lucky anyway, you get given like education on how to communicate alternatively through like written or sign. However, if you tend to not have that verbal communication issue, you can go through your entire education not learning about a different type of communication. And so I wondered if maybe it wasn't that we were struggling to communicate to the neurotypical people, it was they couldn't speak to us because they hadn't been given the tools to speak to us, whereas we were fluent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's such a common disabled experience, isn't it, that you're kind of made to feel that you don't fit into systems and that you're the problem, but actually it's social model 101 really, isn't it? It's actually the environment that's the problem and isn't built for disabled people, and it should be, and actually building it from the ground up with disabled people, neurodivergent people in mind, actually, as like what you're saying, it actually benefits everyone. Like it means everyone can communicate better and has different tools to communicate.
I thought about, well, first off, I wanted to create a space for people like me that struggled, and I can just about get away with working in groups of people where they're not able to understand me as much. I can just about cope with it, but lots of people in my situation can't. So I was able to go to university and be amongst people that didn't understand me. They do now, by the way, because I taught them. But like I could do that. So many people can't. And so going to a space where you know that you're going to be understood from day one is huge. And it opens up doors, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so even at that point, you're almost seeing that, like, oh, maybe you had a role to kind of advocate for other neurodivergent theatre makers.
Well, I mean, again, like I came from the care system. I was brought up that like we'd have these meetings every so often, and they would ask me questions, and I would always have, like, because they'll say, oh, what are you struggling with? And I would start talking. But the moment I started complaining about something, they would bring it back to something. They would bring the topic back to something that upset me, say education. And that would make me cry. And then they would tell me that she doesn't know what she's talking about because she's crying. And so, but when I was on stage, when I was on stage, people listened. And so at first I started using that platform as a way to tell my story. And I did. I talked about the care system in my first year. And then I talked about autism in my second year. And then my third year, I did disability. People listened. But then I ran out of things to talk about that was about me. And I realized that I was in such a position of power and such a unique position that I needed, like, it was my responsibility to use my platform to tell other people's stories, people's that are often too, like, they struggle with stuff like that. Like other people that are being silenced, other people that are being made to cry because they had something that they really needed to get off their chest. Like it was my duty. And then creating this theatre company, of course, it's very much like it's designed around what the members want to do. That's the reason why there's so many different things that we can do, from like directing, acting, of course, set design, costume design. There's all sorts of things that like I'm willing to teach because it's all down to what the members want. But I would like, and again, it's up to the members, but I would like it if our members were like, they felt confident enough to get up on stage and maybe they start telling their own stories. And then one day they'll run out of things to tell about themselves and then they start telling about other people's stories. And that's what I really, really want. It's like I've been talking to, like there's a union I'm not going to say the name of yet, but there was a union I was talking to and they were very much interested in collaborating if the members were wanting a platform to talk about, like it was about the cost of living, because they were very interested in that. I would love if I was able to get the group together and we could go around schools or anything like that, even like workplaces as well. If we're able to educate neurotypical people on communication with neurodiverse people, that would be amazing. Because it's not just neurodiverse people that struggle with communication. You've got people that you've got nonverbal people, but then there's also people that use sign language as well that are deaf. It's just like we like going to libraries as well, like talking, because we are based out of a library. That could be very much our first step. Never know, where people are learning about the written word, and a lot of children nowadays, in particular, they because of YouTube and all sorts of other different media, they're getting less and less enthusiastic about the written word. I see less and less people at the libraries. I used to love the library, but I don't see that joy in children anymore. And I would love to figure out a way to get them excited about the written word, not just about the adventures they could go on in their imagination, but how, like, the doors it opens to, like, what if you're, like, even, like, your best friend, your future best friend, like, they could be amazing. Like, you could go on so many actual physical adventures and you just don't know because, like, you can't communicate with them. You can't communicate via written words. So you never have that conversation that makes you best friends.
Here's a question, random. If you were describing disorderly theatre to someone you just met on the bus, how would you describe it?
Best place that you never knew existed. A place on your doorstep. A place for the people that never had a place to begin with. Disorderly theatre is community. A theatre class once a week that we have 3-hour classes in, 2 hours of which is 2.5 hours is skill-based, 30 minutes is a sensory experience aimed at neurodiverse adults and their carers. And we learn a bit about everything, not just theatre, but ourselves.
Do you want to tell us any more about Disorderly as it is now? Like, do you have a group of members already? Like, yeah.
So we launch officially on the 25th of June. On the 25th of June, it's going to be at Gateshead Central Library, upstairs in the theatre. The doors will be wide open, so it's not hard to find. And it's going to be like, because right now we're crowdfunding, but we are struggling with that mainly because of our circles. So this would be also a fundraiser. We'll be having got a raffle, tombola, but we also got some activities planned. We're going to have throughout the entire day a sensory area where people can go and relax. We've got some craft tables, sensory area, craft tables, activities are free. It's mainly just raffle, tombola, those cost money. But we're going to be making costumes on the craft table and stuff like that. We're thinking of a themed, more physical activity that we'd like to do as well, which would also be free. But it just depends on if we can get the resources for it. And that's from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. And then we also have a mini taster session that day from 1:30 till 2:30. Our sessions are normally 3 hours per week. So this really is like a third of a regular class. But each class is normally, we have a few warm-up games, then we learn a skill, and then we cool off we have 2 separate different sensory experiences. So you've got the sensory avoidant and the sensory seeker. And the sensory seeker is basically we get a load of board games out and people can play board games. And if it runs over time, people can go downstairs to the library and use the library spaces. And then the sensory avoidant is we roll out some yoga mats, we get out some blankets, and we've got a projector, and it's just going to project some lovely moving scenery on the ceiling so people can tune out, listen to music, just try and regulate themselves. Because from session to session, each session's going to be different. So we might be challenging difficult themes. And it's just really important that people are able to regulate themselves before they go back into the big world out there. Because I struggled with that as well. I was when I was doing my performing arts when I was younger, I did this piece. It was a monologue from Gut Girls, and it challenged difficult subjects. I always got mentally, I'd always get really deep into it. So when I went home, it almost felt like even though it wasn't, it felt like I was experiencing the same trauma the character had, and I had no way of regulating that because I just had to do the monologue, go home, and I was a teenager as well. I had no way of talking about it because it's just a character. No one's going to be like, oh, you, because they'll be like, oh, the trauma doesn't really exist. It's just a character and stuff like that. It's really important that they regulate themselves, because I was in a position, though there was a really fun moment when we were doing Cats. I was playing a cat. I got really, really interested in balls on strings.
I was just about to ask.
For a little while.
They become like your go-to stim. And did you sleep a lot?
Oh, that's a given anyway. I don't need to be a cat to do that. But yeah, that was wild. But yeah, there was other things that that my previous experiences, like, it helped frame like my practice. For example, like I won't say where because I don't want anyone to get upset or anything, but like I used to perform, like, because I like there was various places that I did dance at, but I would dance to a point where my legs would give out and I would just collapse. And instead of the teachers like saying, "Are you okay?" they would kind of point at me and say, "This is what everyone needs to be doing. This is a person that's like giving it their all. You should be giving you should be given your all just as much as this person did." So I kept on doing it. I kept on performing full out until I collapsed. And I thought if I didn't collapse, I wasn't doing it good enough. There was another time where I actually I had pulled a muscle in my leg, and like I'd been to the doctors about it, and the doctors had confirmed it. I was on cocodamol and everything, like, and then I went to the class, and I told the teacher, and she said just perform through it because it can't be a pulled muscle because you're walking. It must just be like you're just exercising the muscle. It's getting stronger. You know, it's just burning the muscle. It hurts to gain muscle. And I'm like, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Like, because like I'll be honest, right now I'm plus size, and I was at the time when I was being told that pulled tendon, that pulled ligament wasn't that. And I do think that if I had been smaller, they might not have said that. I think there is still that stigma that if you're plus size, then you don't know how to exercise or you don't know what it feels like to exercise. But I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just another example of needing needing to fit a normative idea of what, I don't know, a dancer is, or that yeah. That if you don't fit that, then somehow, yeah, you don't know your own. Yeah.
Yeah, like I got complimented on my feet, which is normal in dance, by the way. It's not creepy. Okay. But I got complimented on my feet because of my point. So I was able to flex my toes, and it was a much stronger point than a lot of people. But what ended up happening was like my ligaments are quite stretchy, and we didn't realize at the time. So like, for example, today I have a walking stick, and yes, I can walk some distance without it. However, there's a larger chance of me like falling and like twisting something, because like there is a problem in my knees where like one is stronger than the other, and that's just to do with the ligaments and stuff. So like I'm like more wobbly and that. So like if I'm particularly fatigued, I'll use my stick more. But then again, I keep being told that I should be using it all the time, and I think there's just a little bit of inbuilt ableism in my brain where I don't want to be seen with the walking stick, because I keep on thinking, what if I'm using the walking stick and I see a bus and the bus is about to pull away, and then I pick up the walking stick and run for the bus? Like, then no one's going to let me sit down, are they? Like, they're going to, like, no one's going to give up their space because they'll be like, you ran for the bus.
I think that's a really common experience of that ambulant wheelchair users sort of feeling like they can't not use their wheelchair when they've got their wheelchair because they'll be sort of accused of.
It's like I cycled here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've been stared at by. There was this old lady who stared at me in Trinity Square. Because I got off the bicycle, and then I got my walking stick out and started using it. She was just staring at me, and I think it's because they think, oh well, if she's cycling, then she must be fit enough to not use it. But the thing is, if my knees give way when I'm on a bicycle, I've got a seat beneath me to catch me. And so I can go further on the bicycle than I can in like walking.
It's just ridiculous preconceptions of people who don't know anything about lots of different physicalities. But yeah. Do you think those, particularly that experience, the dancing experience where you were being encouraged to push yourself beyond your limits. Do you think those kind of experiences have they made you really think that, in terms of for disorderly, is that kind of driven you to make that kind of a very care-driven approach rather than that other approach that feels not rooted in care at all and is something very different?
Within performance arts, there's a group of people who believe that they have to keep pushing people in order to get those people to be their best. And there are some people that respond positively to that. But there is people like me who do not respond positively to it. In fact, it damages me. And I think disorderly theatre is very much if you come in one day and even if you just don't want to do something, you don't have to have a reason to not want to do something. It's okay. And I'm not going to get mad at people. And it seems so small. You'd think that everywhere would be the same. Everyone would be the same, but I've experienced it and it's not the same. The majority of performing arts classes, specifically ones that are more open to everyone, obviously the performing arts places where they're more focused on disability, etc., they're a little bit more flexible. But also, why is that the case? Why isn't it just flexible for everyone? It just seems so obvious and logical, and I don't understand. But I don't know.
Yeah. It's quite an important distinction for you, wasn't it, that disorderly is aimed at neurodivergent adults?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are a few places that are currently open for neurodivergent children, and you'll find that quite a lot of places are open for neurodivergent children. However, when I grew up, I aged out of a lot of services and I was left alone. I was given, because there was a place that was open, there was the lawnmowers, but that was too far away. I needed somewhere at least somewhat local, and so my only option really was university. And not many people are able to go to university. That seemed like the only place that I could go where I had some sort of control over the projects that we were doing. Because, there are also other places where they're aimed for those that are disabled, but those that are in control, they control everything. They control the story. They control the plot. They're just and then they just teach acting.
Mm-hmm. So
nothing else.
Non-disabled led.
Yeah.
But with disabled performers.
Yeah, they're just it's almost like it's almost like the creators are trying to do something charitable.
Yeah.
And I understand that technically what I'm doing is charitable, but that isn't really the point. It's about giving people like me the agency, and we don't get the agency. It's I've been in services and they baby talk me. they see us as incapable. And yes, like I struggle quite a bit. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like I've been burnt out for a little while starting this company. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like there's been days where I've not been able to function. I've not been able to tidy my flat. Some days I struggle brushing my teeth, drinking water. Like I'm chronically dehydrated. My doctor told me so. So some days I can barely function, but I still was able to get this far at the very least. So surely I'm at least somewhat capable.
Yeah, it's important to have spaces that are by disabled people and for disabled people, not just for, but by and for. Are there any companies that you come across that are doing good work that you sort of are maybe modelling disorderly on, or
Again, I'm bringing back the lawnmowers because at Northumberland University, specifically for our BA, we did some work with the lawnmowers. So they did come in, they did a workshop with us, which was led by the members of lawnmowers. And that made me think about, like, because I don't know the abilities of the people coming into the group, but it just made me realize that anyone can do it. And then there was also, one of our lecturers was running a symposium, and we had the lawnmowers come in, and it was kind of like a piece on acting without acting. So, like for example, for people that struggle taking direction, can't learn lines, just anyone that would really struggle doing anything twice. That's really what it was for. So, like, what they had to do was they grabbed an object, any object, from the front of the stage. They take it to their table and they just draw a picture of it. And then it was a mixture of me and another person from my course would pick up the pictures and would line and the objects and would line them up in front of the stage, and then the other people would walk off. And that was like really a moment where like they weren't acting, but they were on stage performing. And I just found that really, really interesting. I thought that concept was really interesting. And I was, when I'm teaching, I like, it sounds bad, but like, this is the only way I can explain it. I like tricking people into acting. So like, I'll have people like for example, I remember there was, I did this directing workshop, and literally I had this one person come on stage, and I just said, just stand there and just do whatever you feel like doing. And then I had the person that was learning how to be director, and I told them when the other person was out, like away, to direct this person to pick up a chair and stack it without saying a word, without letting the person on stage know what they were trying to do. And it happened. They stacked the chair, and then they were like looking on the stage, and they were like, what? And we were just grinning. And I was like, yay, it worked.
That's so interesting.
I just love tricking people into doing stuff. It's really funny and really fun and really useful, because that was an exercise of performing without acting, and then also nonverbal communication.
Yeah, and directing without words as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a lot in that. Your intention in terms of the types of things that Disorderly goes on to produce, do you think there'll be like Do you envisage it like kind of co-authored shows that the group kind of work on and kind of co-devise through a process, or do you have any idea? I suppose I know that you said it's going to be shaped by the members, so maybe that's something you don't know yet.
It is very much about what the members want to do, and I think that it'd be very much co-authored. I think I'll probably be doing the glue. So even if it's something like one person writes the script and I utilize how to use it, like I'm very much the glue, but they're creating the thing. So like all the credit is them. I'm just facilitating it.
Yeah. Great facilitation. Yeah. And maybe a bit of directional. Well, you'd also, it sounds like, also going to put members in those positions and kind of directing and stuff.
I would love to put them in those positions as well. Obviously, if they want to specialise in that, that's brilliant. However, I do want to rotate it as much as I can, because even if you think that you're going to love a role, like if you've never experienced that role before, you might end up growing to not like it as much. Mm-hmm. So I want to rotate it if possible.
Yeah, and I think with any of those kind of roles, you do benefit from being on the other side or doing the other roles that go into making a production, because it benefits you if you're a director to know what it feels like to be an actor. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa to an extent.
Yeah, because I did when I was at Turnbull University, I was on committee on drama society, and so I started off acting in their performances, etc. And then I started because I was secretary on their committee, so I was part of the people that were okaying which directors got to do what. Then I started doing workshops for those directors to help them become better directors. And then I ended up directing and script writing my own production, and I had one of our members shadow me as director, and slowly, I don't know how much they noticed that I was doing it, but I was slowly giving them more and more responsibility until the very day where, although I was responsible for tech, pretty much everything else, it was their responsibility. And I would never have done that if I didn't know that they were capable. And they were amazing. They started off, they are and have always been brilliant, but their confidence levels have always been quite low, and unnecessarily so. And so oftentimes they would get the chance to have an idea, but they would back down from that idea. And I needed to kind of hijack a situation to allow this person to find out that they're actually great. And so I did kind of manipulate the situation a little bit so that this person could kind of come out. That play that I did, it wasn't my best work in terms of writing or anything like that. It was very much about a collaboration between different societies, and collaborations are always kind of tricky. So sometimes it didn't work out as I had intended. However, everyone had fun, etc. And yes, it was very much about the actors, etc. But it was also a big part of it was this director as well. So my role as director was also kind of, it was a little bit, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just, being director isn't just about directing actors. There's so much more that goes into it. And sometimes being a director is knowing when to stop directing and when to trust the people around you to take the lead.
I think you touched on it earlier, but there's also an element with disorderly where you want to offstage skills as well. You think that this is not just about sort of the performing roles, directing, those kind of creative roles, but maybe some of the offstage stuff as well?
Yeah, so obviously like set and costume design. We're hoping to get some extra facilitators in to help with that.
Some specialists with those things. That's interesting.
Because we did learn a bit of costume design when I was doing Circus Central. I am a bit rusty in it, but I know the basics. But I'm hoping to get some facilitators on that. I've got someone that's interested, that's also neurodiverse, that wanted to be a participant, who may because that's also another thing is like there's potential for the participants to lead sessions. That's also, you can participate and lead sessions. So that's also another thing. And then set design, that's something that we've done throughout the thing. So for our BA, we've done set design, etc. So that's something that I can actually teach. But it's also about, like, even if you don't want to do theatre, sometimes like just having a space to go where there's people like you who you can smile and laugh with. Because yes, there's skills building, but there's games. There's like moments where we're like playing and having fun, board games or watching the ocean from the floor, relaxing, or watching space, or watching a production on the ceiling. I don't know. It's so much more than a theatre company.
It's like a community. Yeah. In your dreams for Disorderly, in the sort of medium to long term, where would you see it? How would it pan out? I'd
love for us to be invited places to teach other people about communication, because I would love to make the change that I'd hope to inspire a change in the education system. I know that's like a big thing, but like I want there to be a change in the education system so that it's not just the children that become nonverbal that get communication classes. It's everyone. Everyone should have access to that same education, regardless of neurotype. And I would love if disorderly theatre, in however our future like is, like if we can do at least one thing, is inspire others to do what we're doing.
To be more about that than performing on big grand stages. That's more. I think that's more important. That's sort of more.
It's more important, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always fun if we could, but yeah, that's more important is changing the system if we can.
And you can do that by performing a bit as well, because you're performing the change you want to see. Yeah. What's next? Obviously, you've got the official launch coming up in June, at the end of June.
25th of June.
I don't know when this will go out, so we're recording on the date of we're recording on the 5th of June. So we're speaking before that's happened. This, as you're listening, it may well have happened. So yes, if you're listening in the future, it will have happened, and it was a rip-roaring success, I'm sure. Do you have any other final things you want to say to the listeners? Or
I want to say something that's slightly off topic, still within topic, but off topic, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Stimming.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the longest time, I masked my stimming. So stimming is a way of calming yourself down. Normally that's physically, so it could be flapping hands or jiggling one's leg. Or even like bursting out into song, which happens quite a lot. For the longest time, I hid that. I masked. But within the past year or two, I've decided to unmask And if people stare at me, I just stare at them back. And I would love it if I wasn't the only one. Please join me in the weirdness. Thank you.
Be out and proud with your stims.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why not?
Thank you.
Sabrina, it's been really great chatting to you today. Thanks for coming on the Disability and podcast. I really do wish you all the best with Disorderly. Maybe we'll get you on again in a year or two down the line. Maybe even more. Maybe you'll have changed the education system by the time we next get you on.
That would be amazing.
Let's hope so. But yeah, thanks so much, Sabrina.
Thank you.
We do hope you've enjoyed this episode of Disability And. Further episodes can be found on the Disability Arts online website at www.disabilityarts.online.